Okay, let's dive right into this. Welcome to this explainer on cracking the code for one of the most fundamental yet completely and consistently mishandled topics in the entire Cambridge AS and A-Level Accounting 9706 syllabus. We're talking about types of business entity. You know the ones, sole traders, partnerships, and limited companies. But listen up, because this is not just going to be some basic run-of-the-mill review of definitions. Oh no, absolutely not. Today, you are stepping directly into the examiner's mind. We're going to completely deconstruct the exact architecture of those high-tariff exam questions, expose the hidden traps that are literally costing students their A stars every single year, and build a totally bulletproof framework for your answers. Honestly, whether you're aiming to push a borderline B to an A, or you're out here trying to secure that top-in-the-world ranking, you absolutely need to understand both the theoretical foundations and the highly technical methodology behind these business entities.
Look at this sheer scale of the opportunity we're talking about here, 15%. I really want that number to just sink in for a second. Types of business entity accounts for approximately 15% of the total marks in Paper 2 of Accounting 9706. That is a massive, massive chunk of your final grade sitting in just one conceptual area. It can literally make or break your overall performance. Yet year after year, when you read through the principal examiner reports, you see students just leaving easy marks on the table. Why? Because they treat this topic way too casually. They think, oh, I know what a sole trader is, I know what a limited company is, and they just breeze past it. But they completely fail to apply the rigorous systematic analysis that Cambridge actually demands. Well, not anymore. Today I'm going to show you exactly what examiners are looking for so you can claim every single one of those 15%.
So, here's our examiner's playbook for the session. We'll start with command word anatomy, then we'll jump into the deconstruction debate, where we break down some peer problem solving. After that, we'll hit the methodology roadblock, do an interactive pause and practice workshop, and wrap it all up with the core exam pillars.
Act 1. Command word anatomy. Let's decode the exam.
Okay, so when you see a high tariff, say 9 to 15 mark essay question, the absolute biggest mistake you can make is just picking up your pen and starting to write down every single fact you've ever memorized. You can't do that. The command word is the lock, and your response has to be the exact key. Look at these command words. We have analyze and evaluate contrasted with explain, and to what extent. Listen, these are not synonyms. The Cambridge Assessment Framework strictly, and I mean strictly, prioritizes analytical depth over superficial descriptive breadth. If a question asks you to evaluate whether a sole trader should transition into a limited company, and you simply explain the basic features of both, you are going to hit a really low ceiling in the marking scheme. Analyze actually requires you to break down the financial data and show causal relationships, like how does issuing shares specifically impact control and gearing. And evaluate, that demands a justified conclusion based on hard evidence. You aren't just a student recalling facts here, you've got to act like a professional accountant advising an actual client.
Now, here's a crucial point. And guys, this is a major flashing red examiner alert, pulled straight from the official reports. Candidates consistently confuse key terminology. You literally cannot afford to do this. Before you dive into that beautiful, high-level evaluation we just talked about, you must establish your foundational knowledge. You have to always define precise terms before using them in your extended responses. So if you're discussing ordinary share capital, or say, appropriation accounts in a partnership, you need to define what those mean in the context of the specific scenario right out of the gate. Establishing these precise definitions proves to the examiner that you have a rock-solid grasp of the core principles. Doing this unlocks those initial knowledge and understanding marks, and honestly, it just sets a really professional academic tone for the rest of your essay.
Which perfectly brings us to Act 2, the deconstruction debate.
Imagine you're in a collaborative study suite with two classmates. Let's call them Alex and Sam. They are your classic archetypal scholars. Alex is highly technical, absolutely loves formulas and facts, but really struggles with open-ended evaluation. Sam, on the other hand, is this creative thinker who is great at building arguments, but kind of lacks structural precision. So they look at a prompt, and Alex immediately wants to do a massive brain dump of facts. Alex is like, let's just list all the differences between a partnership and a company. Well, that right there is step 1, knowledge and understanding. But Sam pushes back, rightly realizing that to unlock the top-tier marking bands, the assessment objectives, they have to progress through distinct cognitive domains. Sam says, wait, listing facts only gets us AO1 marks. We need AO2, analysis, to show exactly how the change in entity affects the capital structure. And then we actually need AO3, evaluation, to make a solid recommendation. Sam hit the nail on the head. You need to integrate both, systematic analysis followed by evidence-based reasoning.
And notice how Sam successfully elevates their joint response by arguing for a much broader conceptual perspective.
The principal examiner reports explicitly state that candidates who reference cross-topic connections achieve significantly higher marks. But what does that actually mean for you? It means if you're talking about forming a limited company, don't just talk about limited liability and call it a day. Bring in concepts from other areas of the syllabus. How does this entity structure affect ratio analysis? What's the specific impact on liquidity or return on capital employed? How does it fundamentally change the way financial statements are prepared? By integrating these entity concepts with the broader accounting framework, you demonstrate true academic competence to the examiner. You show them that you don't just know the pieces, you see the whole chessboard.
Okay, we are moving into Act 3, the methodology roadblock. But real quick, before I show you how to secure those incredibly important method marks, I've got a quick challenge for you. If you want to grab that full 15%, make sure you hit subscribe to @AceTheExam IGCS right now and turn on all notifications so you never miss a weekly Cambridge breakthrough strategy. Okay, let's get back to dismantling this paper.
So, back in our study suite, Alex and Sam have hit a massive timing roadblock. They have the knowledge, they have the evaluation points lined up, but they're taking way too long to format the financial statements, and they are completely losing track of their workings. This is where you need to apply a crucial examiner secret, the method mark strategy. In Cambridge Accounting, marks are very frequently awarded for the process, not just the final mathematical answer. Systematic processing follows a highly standardized sequence. Step 1, identify the key elements from the stimulus. Step 2, apply the relevant principles. Step 3, execute the analysis with crystal clear working. Step 4, verify your results for reasonableness. And Step 5, present it in the appropriate format. Listen, if you make a silly calculation error in Step 3, but your process in Steps 4 and 5 is correct based on your own flawed figure, you can still pick up method marks. But, and this is a huge but, only if the examiner can clearly see your methodology.
To make sure those method marks are secured, Alex and Sam need to rewrite their flawed section aloud, and they need to adhere to strict conventions. The presentation of information when it comes to types of business entity is not a suggestion. It follows rigorous, non-negotiable rules. You must use proper headings. You must use correct terminology. It's an income statement, guys. Please do not call it a profit sheet. You must use appropriate formats, and you absolutely must include clear annotation of your workings. Honestly, I highly suggest creating a memory hack for this. Use a mnemonic with the first letters of these terms. HTFA. HTFA. Headings, terminology, formats, annotation. Literally write HTFA at the top of your rough paper. Every single time you finish a ledger account or a financial statement, just run through it. Did I include the date in the heading? Is the terminology precise? Is the format standard? Are my workings annotated? I promise you, this simple little checklist saves countless dropped marks.
Welcome to Act 4, Interactive Pause and Practice. Let's put this into action.
I want you to actively engage with this right now. Imagine a 60-second visual countdown timer running in your head. Look at this matrix. This right here is the ultimate cheat sheet for higher order assessment objectives. We are comparing a sole trader, a partnership, and a limited company across 3 distinct levels: descriptive, analytical, and evaluative. With the timer ticking down, your job during an exam is to instantly identify where the prompt is forcing you to operate. If it asks, state 2 features of a partnership, well, you're just in the top row. Descriptive. Easy. AO1 marks. But if it says, advise the sole trader whether they should invite a partner or form a limited company to raise capital, boom, you must drive your answer all the way down to the evaluative row. You have to systematically dissect the correct paths, evaluate the alternatives, like weighing the loss of control against the access to equity, and make heavily justified recommendations based entirely on the financial data provided. This matrix, this is the exact mental framework the examiner holds in their hand when they are reading your paper.
All right, let's do a rapid-fire spot the flaw exercise. Imagine looking at a poorly written student answer. I can immediately see the top 3 mistakes pulled verbatim from the principal examiner reports. Number 1, forgetting proper format. The student just scribbled numbers all over the page without any clear structure. Number 2, failing to check presentation. The handwriting is totally illegible and the workings are magically hidden somewhere in the margins. And number 3, which is absolutely the most fatal error, answers lacking specific context. Imagine the student gave a generic, textbook list of the advantages of a limited company, entirely ignoring that the stimulus material was about a local, family-owned bakery that desperately wanted to maintain creative control. You guys, if you do not anchor your evaluation to the specific context given in the prompt, your analysis marks are strictly capped. Always connect the theory back to the scenario.
Moving into our final act, Act 5, Strategy Recap.
By blending their approaches, Alex and Sam managed to master the Deconstruct, Solve, Evaluate framework. And this brings us right to the core thesis you see here: systematic analysis and evidence-based reasoning. Listen, the examiners are not trying to trick you. Really, they aren't. They are simply trying to verify if you possess the logical, highly structured reasoning that is required of a professional accountant. Every single number you calculate is evidence. Every format you use is part of that systematic analysis. If you approach paper 2 with this exact mindset, you completely stop being a student who is just guessing at answers, and you transform into an analyst presenting a rock-solid case.
So let's summarize this entire explainer into your ultimate practical toolkit for exam day. We have 3 memorable core pillars. Pillar 1, the 3-step question scan. Deconstruct the prompt, highlight the specific command word, and extract the exact contextual constraints. Pillar 2, the paragraph balance formula. Ensure every single paragraph of your extended response hits AO1 knowledge, AO2 analysis of the specific scenario, and AO3 evaluation. Do not ever leave a paragraph as just a descriptive list. And Pillar 3, the last 5 minutes review checklist. Remember your HTFA mnemonic, check your headings, terminology, formats, and annotations. Verify that your method marks are clearly visible. This toolkit is your definitive roadmap to maximizing that 15%.
Crushing Cambridge exams does not happen by accident. It requires rigorous, consistent strategy. You now have the blueprint for types of business entity. But the journey definitely doesn't stop here. I want you to go down to the comments right now and declare your target grade. Seriously, write it out. And tell me exactly how you are going to apply this Deconstruct, Solve, Evaluate framework to your very next past paper. Put it out into the universe and hold yourself accountable. Make sure to hit that subscribe button for @AceTheExam IGCSE to stay first in line for our next exam hack. Practice these past paper questions, stay hyper-focused, and I will see you in the next explainer. Keep analyzing and keep evaluating.